Welcome to the Dice Box and Tombstone Blues. Our team of Jillian, Kane, the warrior gunslinger of God. Reba stalks the crossroads. The hostess with the mostest for just about anything you'd care to name. Uh, Aloy O'Toole, tinkerer extraordinaire with her loyal and kind of ridiculous sidekick Muffin, and Caleb, uh, unschooled, wiser than he acts, expert on all things in between, are currently in homestead of next door neighbor to a rather unusual and horrific farm, the Norrington place, which has been. People have been going missing in and around it, and they found puppets, mannequins, things roaming around it, and the general feel that a portal might open up somewhere on that property at some point. They did find an ally, apparently an extra-dimensional human woman with various bits of magical nonsense about her, who's been helping out, which was good because these guys got themselves clawed to shit by bone and vine critters, and then two of them got yeeted to, thankfully, not the place that the entity they call the Undertaker-looking motherfucker wanted to send them. Although where they did end up was kind of hysterical. Caleb ended up in the Feywild, where he ran an errand for a satyr with the help of a little orange fairy dragon, met what you guys probably know out of character at least to be an archfey, and got sent back on the promise that they will come back and they will run a hunt for him. All of them, not just him. So he had to come back and tell them all, yeah, oh, by the way, you're going to the weird place. Whoops. But unfortunately, because he couldn't find a portal and didn't want to sort of walk and try to triangulate a position on one, he was kind of stuck. Reba went to the celestial plane, which was hysterical. Meet Reba, you know, neutral good at best to a world full of lawful good, and, fucking white boy god bullshit and all manner of other stuff. And I had to have a chat with Jillian, their champion on this particular prime material plane, about why shouldn't we just put her here properly. I mean, she's here now. And basically, Jillian got tied into, no, sorry, you're just never going home. This is your life now. If you thought you were going to go back to your husband, think again. They did eventually get back to their respective spots and had themselves what I guess qualifies as a short rest. So on top of whatever healing you may have received from your various bits and pieces, if anybody... Did I set you guys up hit dice? I should have set you guys up hit dice.
I have some on my sheet.
Yep.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah, I marked down your current hit points too, by the way, Brian, because there weren't any there. So I don't know how many you lost. I don't even... that's why you have to keep track of these things, but...
Well, I had it written down, but apparently when I close the sheet, it goes away.
It shouldn't do that. I don't know what you did, but... Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Given that you were pretty badly banged up, now we roll the hand of fate. No. Okay. That is how many hit points you now officially have. So if you want to use any of your hit dice to up your... Because your satyr friend and your goodberry didn't do that much.
So
Basically,
not played. Yeah.
Yeah, you your hit dice is your basically the die you'd roll for hit points. So for a ranger, that's a D8, if memory serves me correctly. Remy is effectively paladin, so she'd be D10.
Okay, so I'm basically rolling 98.
No, you don't have to use them all. Hang on,
Oh,
let me just clear the chat log. Okay. Yeah, basically hit dice 101. You have these dice. Every time you take a short rest, you can use as many of them as you feel you need in order to bump your hit points up somewhat. So if you weren't hurt very badly, you might just roll one. If you were hurt more, you might roll two or three. Uh, at the at the start of your next long rest, you gain half as many as you should have, if you see what I mean, your total. So when you roll hit dice, you roll as many as you want, add your constitution modifier, and that's how many hit points you get back. So if you rolled your like let's say if you rolled 2d8 and you got a 6 and a 4, that'd be 10. You add your constitution modifier to the 10, and that would be how many hit points you got from your chilling out, having food, etc., etc., etc. Jillian, incidentally, is kind of drunk. I'm sorry, she kept drinking.
so how often do these hit dice replenish?
At the end of every long rest, so...
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
How
that
did you
whole
not know that, Ethan? I guess it's because you hardly ever use them, because you've had like health potions and shit like
Yeah,
that. But
exactly.
so
I
that the afternoon they spend in the kitchen, that's a short rest, right? Because Remy. Now I'm saying Remy instead of Jillian.
sorry.
The last I had her was at 49 out of 61. So
Yeah, if you want
she
to,
could go for
anybody
one or
who
two.
wants to roll hit dice, including for Muffin, who I'm going to say because Muffin is construct, Muffin gets a 1d12.
I'm gonna definitely roll for Muffin. I was fine by sheer dint of, well, Muffin!
Yes, so you can spend your short rest fixing Muffin for however many of the d12s you want to roll for Muffin.
Let me see what Muffin hit dice.
God, you rolled shit for you rolled oh.
How many hit dice
Okay.
would Muffin have? Oh, no, that's just 2 hits. Sorry.
No. I'm gonna say 65. You. I do this for a hit point. I do this for hit points when you're going up. For fuck's sake, roll the two ones you got again, because that's just poor.
Oh, you mean me? Okay.
Yeah, I mean you. I can do that with ones. Okay, apparently the 1-1 still needs to be there. The 8 makes up for it. So, I guess add another 7 to your... So that's 19. I don't argue when it's doing it twice.
Muffin's up by 13.
I have to admit I have not been keeping track of Muffin's hit points, but now you at least know what Muffin's hit points are. I'm gonna say that because you did some repair work on him while waiting for Martha, while looking around trying to figure out what the fuck happened to these two, and convincing Jillian that we need to get help. You're leaking. They you would have, let's see. 65 total. We'll say he had 10 from the beating. He took another 10 from your repair work. So that's giving him 33.
All right, I have that noted.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Jillian, while physically better, has kind of been at the whiskey. This may actually come into play later. This entirely depends on what you decide to do when Caleb informs you that, yeah, that noise, your thing that tells you that was a portal. So that is where you are. You've had a lovely dinner, and then there was that noise from way out there, and yeah, at the edges of your peripheral awareness of these things, as I know you get that ability back at the end of short rests, then yeah, that is the portal that has been incipient is now no longer incipient. It is extant. It is there.
So it's like nightfall, right?
Uh, sunset certainly.
Okay, doke.
Oh.
That ain't a
Oh.
good sound.
No, that sort of thing is never exactly good. I mean, the last time I heard a sound, even
I meant him, but yeah, that too. Where did you hear a sound like that before?
Aloy, not now. Jillian
No,
strides
she
to the window.
She might have. Where did you hear something like that before?
Well, ex-fiance had a lot of ghost rock and weird hoodoo going on, so I kind of blew it all up.
Okay, you've danced all the way around that, and somewhere in there was the point. Your ex-fiance opened up a portal.
No,
Is that
not
what you're
a
telling me?
close to it. He was making undead things. It was this whole pile of nasty because the guy was. Turns out he was really messed up. I didn't know until zombies walking around because he couldn't afford.
So, when they mostly got rid of slavery, he decided that if he couldn't own live humans, dead ones would do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was having none of that, so
We get it. You blew it all up. Good for you. Now, how does this apply to the situation?
well, if that's the noise, if I'm recalling a noise that, if that sounds to me like a noise Ghost Rock Kerboom makes,
There
well,
are way
who knows?
more.
What maybe?
There are way more ways to open portals or make other shit happen than Ghost Rock. But I take your point. But I think we've all more or less figured out that that's hoodoo and it ain't good. Jillian, looking out the window, doesn't actually see all that much beyond like the sunset because there's tree in the way. But I mean, make me a perception check. No, you're drunk. Fuck it.
Look, it's my nose.
Not that drunk, just trying to look, and The noise is distracting, and there's trees in the way, and all she really has is fucking trees. Just rocketing around in her head is just fucking trees.
Caleb, you made.
Jillian
Sorry, go
breathes
ahead.
in very sharply.
If
Caleb, you made a noise,
Yep.
and
Portal open.
figured.
Ripped by the feel of it.
Sorry, what?
Ripped open by the feel of it.
What does that entail?
Somebody on the other side going like this.
Did it have to be the other side, or could anyone on either end do it? Because I had a feeling that you could punch through any old way.
Well, you're probably right. I just assumed since they were tried to pull us that they were probably over there.
Well, it depends on whether or not they pop back. Because they didn't open up a portal and shove you through it. They just sort of... Portals are when you want lots of things through. And that's a... If you're opening up... If you're opening it... You're probably right about the ripping. Because if you're opening it up like a door, that's one of the most powerful magics you can do. It's on a par with the... Basically bending the universe with a wish, or... dropping meteors the approximate size of the house. Thankfully, most people can't do more magic that powerful more than a couple of times, but it does speak a lot to what else they can do. But ripping just involves an awful lot of power, and it doesn't matter if it comes from you or not. As long as you're pointing it in the right place, which is probably what she's talking about. Points at Aloy. Now, I've got a minor question as to whether your gunslinging friend here can actually shoot straight. Because I told her if she kept drinking, I'm not letting her anywhere near those fucking guns.
I can shoot just fine.
It ain't the shooting that I'm worried about. It's the aiming.
I'm just going to walk over to Jillian, hand in front of face.
Yeah,
Boy.
that's actually not.
Exit the hand.
That ain't good.
No.
That ain't good. We need to do something about that.
Yeah, but you ain't the person to do it right now.
You're
Looks
swaying like a willow tree in the wind.
Looks at the measures in the bottle. This was some good shit too.
So you're drunk. Some of us are beat to crap. Muffin's dented.
It ain't the dented I'm worried about. It's how well where the dents are and what they might do to the moving.
Look, Caleb,
We need to.
Caleb, have you seen something like this before? Do you know what's happening on the farm? What's going to happen over the next few hours?
Well, my assumption is that a whole lot of something's coming through one way or the other. And I'm going to guess they're not running away. If the little weak spot was like a crack in the wall to peek through, this is like throwing open the barn doors.
I don't think we're in any condition to actually go and deal with that.
Anybody who's got Arcana, make me an Arcana check. Caleb, no, you do not. I actually literally had to check, but no, you do not. You don't know what any of the shit is. You just shoot it when you find it. And it's actually not really ironic that it's Aloy who knows more about it. I mean, Reba, as somebody who deals with nonsense from the crossroads, she mostly specializes in keeping it where it's supposed to be. So she's pretty sure that yeah, that portal could have been ripped from either direction, possibly from things working on both sides. Uh, Alloy has seen the kind of thing that comes from the other side. And honestly, it's not going to be like from Alloy's experience, it's not going to be flood of massive you know, demons red in tooth and claw kind of stuff. It's probably going to be more subtle than that, at least in terms of what's visible. In if it's anything like what happened at her ex nearly arranged marriage guy's place, those those mannequins at the farm will probably be rather more stable, at least to start with, as things start inhabiting them. They're probably going to start actively hunting the ones that are made to be little kids. And other stuff might sneak out, but it's probably not going to just bust out and rampage through the place, because then something, people are more liable to see it and stop it. Everybody on the farm is a possession risk, as is anyone going in not necessarily in the best physical or mental states. Ham.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, if I'm processing this right, I'm gonna need some either a chalkboard or big paper to explain this. Okay, it's not gonna be huge red devil looking angry things. It's gonna be sneaky shit. It's gonna be spirits and stuff inhabiting the constructs already there. They're gonna get more stable. They're gonna get beefier. They're gonna start hunting the small ones more than likely.
And after that, they're probably going to be able to leave the confines of the town, but that's after they've eaten and bulked up.
And possibly things floating around looking to possess people. Anybody not 100% is doubled the risk to start with, and that's without getting into the other hoodoo the closer we get to.
And that probably means that I ain't going to be seeing my husband again.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Well, there ain't nothing to be done about it now. I'll grieve later. But that still doesn't mean I'm going to let you go running in there in your current state.
Well, her being sloshed aside, what does beefier mean? Are you saying that they won't be so hard to see?
Well, they won't.
I mean, they'll be harder to hurt.
Which, to answer his question, I reckon means yes. When they were just made of sticks and bones and vines and such, without any added oomph, they were hiding when there was only one or two of them, because one or two of them you could probably take. So they won't be hiding. Once they figure out they don't need to be hiding, that's when they're gonna start. We go there now, they're only going to figure that out faster.
All right. We'll wait until morning. First light.
I'll keep an eye on the perimeter.
I'll take one of those watches.
Roughly how
I need
big
to resupply at the very least.
Well, I'm having an idea too. That's roughly how big of an area is her immediate farm.
He
That
doesn't
that would
know.
matter.
He doesn't
No,
know. He
no.
didn't ask.
Okay. If we were gonna set up protections other than ourselves, how big of an area would we need to cover?
Well, I guess mostly we just have to do the couple of acres or so lengthwise on the dividing line between their farm and mine.
Well, if they're coming more
They won't come.
real, for lack of
They won't
better
come so
terms,
far here. I don't think. They're gonna go for somewhat easier pickings. They're gonna head townwards.
well, slightly different location, same principle. If they're that much more real, we could start setting traps along the edge, slow them down. Bear traps, pits, things like that will not do them any favors.
How long is it going to take to set all that up, though?
Also,
Well,
in terms of pits, sorry, but it's planting season, and we just put the crops in. I'd rather not starve this, this coming harvest season over this. Bear traps, I mean, you're probably right if you've got enough, but it sounds like a lot of the metal that's, I mean, I've got bits of old salvage in the basement if you need, but I don't know how much good any of it'll do you, but I've got some bits. But I have a feeling that a lot of that's probably going to go to try and fix Aloy's mechanical friend.
what I was thinking, since Aloy needs to do her resupplies, maybe I could tag along into town and see if I could get some bear traps from there.
At sundown? You know shop's shut, right?
Yeah, I just wasn't thinking about that.
I mean, it's a good idea, but unless you want to try and rouse folks from their bed and actually go right past the farm to do it, we might not get you back. If you want to take the risk and drag Henderson out of his bed, well, by all means, give it a try, but
I'm a hunter, but I'm not stupid. And I don't like my odds.
what's the end goal here? What all are you gonna be trying to do?
We got to seal that rift and hunt down everything that got out.
Okay, that's your end goal. How are you fixing on achieving it?
Out of character, I have no idea.
I mean,
but I feel
I'm-
like Reba might, which is kind of like I don't know what.
I'm good at sensing.
I'm at a loss
but I
out of
don't-
character, honestly,
I'm good at sensing, but I don't actually know how to.
because I don't know if Reba would know anything about how to seal them if she's more about keeping stuff on the sides it's supposed to be from the get-go. You know,
Yeah.
not so much dealing with it when it's already.
Well, you did roll
In
a
progress.
12 on Arcana. So what you've got is the whole reason that your specialty is making sure things stay where they're supposed to be is because, I mean, particularly ones that are just forcibly ripped open, they take a lot of effort to keep open because the crossroads don't want to be. If you've got an intersection, you don't want somebody driving a 6-lane highway through the damn thing. So, if it stays open, something's keeping it open, and if it's as uncontrolled as it seems to be, that means there's a power source. You didn't see anything that you recognized as ghost rock on this side, which means it's got to be on the other side. Which probably means that as time goes on, that ghost rock will start spreading to help keep it open, But if you've got a little bit of time to at least let people get healed, get sober, fix Muffin, etc., if you get to the other side, which whether or not the rip started from that side is probably what's keeping it open, you can probably find something that'll seal it from there. But you don't need to actually see what was done, what kinds of rituals, if any, were used to concentrate that power. Which you're kind of assuming there are, because you've got to focus power that way. Whether it's Aloy's maths or the kinds of things you do.
So, I'm thinking, and Aloy and Caleb, you're describing it as a rip, which means it's not been deliberately done, which means it's not inherently stable, which means it's being held open. Because it's going to want to naturally close, because, crossroads don't, they're not supposed to be that open. So, I don't know about y'all, but I didn't see anything on this side that looked like it was for that purpose. To hold it open, to power it, to keep it going. So that means it's probably on the other side. But we're not gonna know that. Or I'm not gonna know that until I get across the other side.
What about the Undertaker? That creature must fit into it somehow.
Well, he might have been.
He might have started the ritual on whichever side.
Yeah. On this,
you've proven he can hop.
Yeah. Yeah. He. I mean, we know that thing can go elsewhere. So he could have started it from that side.
Guys, one at a time. Let Ethan finish. Thank you.
No, Caleb. What?
I was just saying, we also know that he is a servant of the Reckoners.
Point. Anyway, point being, at least one of us is probably going to wind up having to go through to see what is holding this open and try to deal with it in some fashion. So that's one thing.
Speaking of that,
yeah.
If I recall right, we were told that Caleb told us about the hunt thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if we go through, and if we shut it down on that side and it closes, Caleb's got a thing that'll send elsewhere, not in whatever nasty pile of weirdness that's going to be over there. We'd have to do a thing once we got to the place, but then we'd potentially have a way directly back.
So, if I decided to go with y'all, because I've got a bit of experience with the very least, I told you there's more to my background than just sharing a bit of yours.
Oh no! That I knew. I just wasn't going to presume that to ask you to go. I understand you have a bit of a vested interest in seeing this done, and
a bit.
I'm understating. After everything else, I didn't know if you wanted. I wasn't going to presume to put you to ask you to put yourself at risk. That's more than you already have.
I have to live here.
All right.
But the issue is, I don't know if I qualify as your pack, did you say?
That's what it said.
So if you go through, it might not
I think it
work.
depends on. I think it depends on him. It doesn't sound like he was specific as to how many.
And to be fair, if you come across with us, you would definitely qualify.
Well, the thing is that while I know that your friend Reba here has got some pretty big magic and some pretty big know-how, I may punch in a slightly different weight class. Unfortunately, I still can't do the hopping thing. Not yet, anyway. Who knows? Maybe I might actually find where I'm supposed to be.
And for what it's worth, I
I'm
can
from
hop.
a prime material plane. I'm not from this prime material plane.
Blink, blink, blink.
Okay then.
I thought I made that moderately clear, but obviously that just went right over some people's heads, didn't it?
I don't actually.
I mean, I had an
Notebook
inkling.
out. Notebook out. Pen out.
I am not your science experiment. You put that away right the hell now.
Harry slowly putting it away.
Yep.
I understand that means you're from someplace different, like what I went to, but I don't know exactly what that means past that.
It's closer to what this place is like, but there's more magic. And what magic there is doesn't just come from creepy bits of rock and reckoners and ancestor worship and that kind of thing.
Not having reckoners is helpful.
Oh, no, they got worse. They got crazy gods and demons of all different kinds, and thankfully most of the crazy gods are mostly locked away behind a veil, but they find ways of having an influence, and sometimes they'll shake folks. There's less in the way of technology, but you do have people who can build things kind of like Muffin.
That's still weird.
Ow.
Shows that.
Lloyd, you can talk about that with her another day.
All I'm saying is that what I know, I learned through an awful lot of studying. I don't really get a chance to use it very much over here. But thankfully, I've got enough to work with that even here, everything I learned how to do still works. There might be something that looks similar to something I recognize. I mean, I got names for demons for days. And reckoners are kind of cross between the demons I know and what y'all call the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
That sounds about right.
So,
So does that mean you're coming?
So, do we have any semblance of a plan
well,
other than go through?
well, we got to try and get there first.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna have a quick look through what I got and see if I can help with that at all. Might be able to, ain't sure. If you got it in you at the moment, Mr. Caleb, maybe you could, while Reba's taking the first watch, go around the edges of the property and maybe try and triangulate on where this thing is and maybe how far away. I mean, if it's right at the edge, you're talking a mile, probably. But if I had a better idea of exactly where on the property this thing is, I might have a way of getting us there without hurting too much. But I'm gonna need to do some reading to do it. Guess I don't have to
Yeah,
hide my library no more.
I can do that. Especially the darker it gets, easier it'll be for me not to be seen.
Just try not to go too far on the property, alright?
I can do that.
But if you can go a little ways and get a look. And then get your butt in here, get some rest. I'll come relieve Reba when I've done some reading and have some sleep, because you look better than almost anyone but Aloy over there.
Yeah, where I ended up did have some odd advantages. I'm still not sure how I feel about it all, but anyway.
If it helps, it might not be the god you know. I've never entirely been sure if the god that everybody seems to worship around here is a different one or just another name for some of the ones I know. But could be a different one, could just be, we don't know. Looks at Jillian. I have faith. I'm just not entirely overly picky as to what, as long as it ain't trying to turn the world into hell. How's that sound?
I'm no preacher, and I'm not here to proselytize by any means.
No, not unless you're thundering something about my lord. Now, you drink some water and go and get some sleep.
And I've seen that look on Aloy's face before. I think this one's itching to do a little bit of working on Muffin
Well,
before they get some sleep.
I can't say I blame her. Some of those dents are in your joints.
Hmm.
They are not in good places.
I knew an artificer once. He didn't have it didn't have a four-legged mechanical mule though.
Hmm.
He had a mechanical man, big mechanical man. It was kind of weird.
Huh.
Huh.
It was much better behaved, I gotta say. But you know,
Did he name it?
I did not ask.
Anyway, Aloy, do what you can for Muffin, but don't neglect your own sleep. You need your rest too.
Don't worry, I'll nag her once I get my head out of the books.
Thank you. I'll be too busy keeping watch.
And hands Reba a mug of rather wonderful smelling coffee. That should help keep you up. I've got enough for the morning. We'll get some water into Jillian, and then we'll get some coffee and a good solid breakfast in y'all tomorrow, and then we'll go and try to save, if not the world, at least the town.
Whoop whoop.
Okay, so what's everybody doing? Well, we all know what Jillian's doing because Martha's going to be
Yep.
standing there with a tapping foot until she drinks her glass of water and goes to bed.
Yep.
And we know what Reba's doing because Reba's literally just sip, keeping watch.
There's one of those little sort of mini balconies with little steps going down from the back door, which is what looks mostly out onto the. Make me a perception check.
13.
Night, as night is coming on. It's not exactly a veritable stampede, but there's a certain amount of animals are leaving the nice and the nice, quiet, lovely habitat forests. First it's like squirrels, occasional frog, and then A small sea of barn cats. Zzz.
That doesn't look good at all. Hey, uh, uh, uh,
One,
as they're running by, I'm like, they're going too quick.
one of the barn cats just screech. We're running away now. What do you want?
It is that bad. Okay, continue. Go. Get out of here.
Humans are weird. Do you have food?
Yes. I think I've still got some jerky on me somewhere.
Just grabs the jerky and runs. This is payment for the
Yep.
stopping announcer.
I took it as such. I was like, here you go. Thank you for the confirmation. I thought that cat pretty much just got thank you for the gone.
Yeah, given that the cat stopped, you would have seen that it's recently missing an ear. You were muted during that, but we got the idea.
No, just go. I was just like, just go. I'm just letting it go. Just get.
Yeah, that eventually the intermittent
Exodus.
yeah, that's probably the best word. Not quite the one I was going for, but it'll do.
Okay.
It does stop relatively quickly, and there are probably things you missed, like mice and other bits and pieces.
Things burrowing quickly.
Yeah, but for the most part, you get the impression that there's not going to be all that much that's not. Yeah. Aloy.
Looking for whatever bits of additional metal is on hand, any extra tools, and then taking all that over to Muffin and just working.
There's not much in the way of tools, but you've got everything you need there. The scrap, there's bits of an old boiler, um, some fairly solid sheet steel, and enough little fiddly bits that were probably supposed to be, generally used in terms of farmyard equipment that will suit your purposes well enough. Muffin's gonna look a bit piebald in terms of patchwork done, but it will give him personality.
Yep.
And he's just sitting in loaf formation, and head goes zip up when Aloy turns up. Whoop. Whoop.
We're gonna start fixing things, Muffin. Get all those dents buffed out.
And clank into repair formation. And
Yeah, just there's gonna be a lot of tinkering. Probably the widget comes out, the sonic screwdriver, noises, something akin to a drill. Construction sounds.
Thankfully, while Reba can faintly hear some of that, only faintly, but can faintly hear some of that, the walls of the farmhouse are thick enough that Jillian does not. So she can sleep in peace. Make me a tinkering roll, Aloy, if the widget is coming out. Okay.
That's a 17.
You figured out a thing in the process of fixing Muffin. You know how you do that thing and you can give it to people and it can make them gotta go fast? You figured out how to install a generator of that into Muffin. It should self-replenish once a day, but once a day, Muffin can be under the effects of haste, although he will have to go into box formation for 6 seconds after the minute runs out.
Yes.
Okay, Reba hears that. She might want to investigate that.
I'm gonna take another look up and down real quick and be like, oh hell.
So in comes Reba as Aloy is doing the
What-
mad scientist
What
cackling.
did you do?
I'm currently holding what looks like a oversized version of the pocket watch thing that I've got my haste activator, except it's bigger and it's glowing. It looks like I could install this somewhere. It's whirring a little bit, and there's like gears spinning, and it just looks.
See, out of character, you say that. My first thought is Reba turns around and go, "Okay, explain," or that's getting installed somewhere.
This is going into Muffin.
Okay, why is it glowing, and is it going to explode?
I'm pulling up the pocket watch I used as a haste as the haste generator. It's like this. Does the same thing. Remember how I can put that spell that makes you go faster?
Just
Into
put that on a
stuff?
dollar bill.
I can put stuff into other things.
Okay, so so what?
Muffin's
So this
gonna
is all
be
on
able-
purpose. This is intentional.
This is intentional. Muffin's
Okay,
gonna
we're good.
be able to go.
I gotta get back on
Maximum
watch.
zoom.
I just wanted to make sure it was intentional and nothing was gonna blow up right now.
Although, to be fair, wise enough to know that maybe you should learn what Muffin can now do.
2 steps. Yeah, hell. All right, tell me what it does.
Well, let's see. Where's that hatch? Muffin, pop it open.
Poink. Boop.
Installing brief.
You know, you could just tell me.
It's the same spell as I can put on the dollar bill. Closing hatch.
Okay.
Let's give this let's.
Well, it'll recharge overnight, so you can
Okay.
give it a test run.
Muffin, let's give this a test run.
Boop. Boop.
Gotta go fast. Protocol 1, go.
And Muffin's always been relatively fast, but now just noom around the.
Sweet ancestors.
It just actually turns around the barn for a minute, and then, for literally a minute, and then box formation, chunk, for 6 seconds.
Is it okay?
Boop.
And then
Give it
1, 2,
5,
3,
4, 3, 2,
Boop.
1. There we go.
So that was supposed to. Okay, so I got to go fast. The bit at the end is supposed to happen.
Same delay, yeah. Same delay as the normal version of that spell.
Okay,
For
that's good to know.
for Aloy the scientist, it's because if you didn't have that cooldown, the overheating joints would cause problems.
Basically, if I built it to go infinitely, all the joints would wear out. So the joints would turn red and then
Burn out.
go off and then go off.
Right. Okay.
Metal bits in all directions. Bad.
Yeah.
bits.
No. Ancestors help me. I like Muffin. We don't want Muffin to go boom.
This is why I gave him a 6-second cool.
Sidles up to Reba and boop.
Oh, hell. Should just kind of lean a little bit, just so that we should get knocked over completely.
Well, no, it's actually being quite gentle about it. It's more the this kind of thing your horse would do. Bonk.
Mm-hmm.
Boop.
All right. Yeah, that hum is actually kind of comforting. I got to get back, and I'll quickly run back to my post.
Yeah, nothing has overmuch changed since
Mm-hmm.
But yes, because that was a good roll, and please note down that now Muffin can use haste once a day. Caleb,
Yes.
what are you doing?
Well, I would like to be stealthy and use Dungeon Delver to actually do what Martha was talking about and move around looking for secret doors and things without necessarily being immediately noticed. And that gives me the option of also being able to check for traps so I don't walk into anything.
Okay. You're gonna need to roll me stealth, however.
Okay.
You are one with the night.
I'm keeping watch, and even Caleb, just went, poof.
Yep, I stepped off the porch and went,
I'm gonna give Reba that you stepped to the forest line and then.
Yep.
Which
Damn,
does,
he dipped.
which does mean you wind up with the small sea of barn cats running literally over your feet on the way out. They don't see you, they don't notice you, they don't care. They're just. So you will also see what they are running from. Yeah, there are critters of various sizes. The the mannequins, the bone and vine creations, and they do seem to be doing some damage to. And over there, you can hear a couple of horses and some cows in great distress. Um, Couple of them run past on the literal tail of what does seem to be a couple of the herd dogs. They seem to have enough to be doing here for the moment. Uh, you do trip over what you're pretty sure is about half the torso of one of the lawmen that were supposed to be looking around the place. Another one kind of shambles past, but there's like, half of his arm is missing, and he does not look particularly among the living.
which half did I trip over?
Uh, I mean, literally, it's a bit of rib cage. So, rib cage, bits of meat. You can see
But
bits of
not
uniform.
enough. Not enough to try and scavenge any bullets or anything like that.
Now we roll the hand of fate. Nope.
Oh, that's not good. All right.
Also, shooting will blow your cover. Just by the way.
Right.
You're not seeing any traps or secret doors, but from your... And you're not going too far in, but looking at where things are radiating out from, give me a survival check. Yeah, that's coming from that swamp area that Reba was talking about. You're pretty sure. So up towards the back of the property. Are you going to investigate further, or do you have what you need to know?
Hmm. So, how many of those things did I actually see?
A few. It's hard to tell because the light's not very good around here, whether all of the ones that you saw were different ones, or whether, you know, they doubled back, or there were certainly at least 3, and there were more than that because of what jumped you. but it's not a small property.
I can't run like the dogs. And the people did not fare well. I would prefer having better ideas of numbers, but I also prefer being able to make it back without having something else run in my head. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna come back. I think I'm gonna try and draw out some kind of a map so we can have a better idea of how we need to move.
A quick look to what I could ask you to roll for that. Because unfortunately, drawing a map, only thing I could ask you for is a straight intelligence check. You're not great at holding a pencil. In fact, you don't even have a pencil unless you ask Aloy for one. But you can just about get something that gives a general idea of where you're aiming for, although honestly, your intelligence is saying, but I need to draw a map or we don't know where we're going. Your wisdom is saying, Reba was there!
And I mean, I can find it because I went part of the way there too, but I was trying to make sure that we all could have a better idea.
And that's entirely fine, but you're still gonna have to ask Aloy for pencil and paper.
Okay,
Because you don't carry stuff like that because you you don't read, you don't write. Why would you carry any of that shit?
no, that's totally fair. So yeah, basically, after whatever time frame it takes,
we're gonna say you were stealthing around in there for about a half an hour.
okay. So yeah, I don't know if she knew I left, but about a half hour after Reba
She
saw
saw
me
you
disappear
head,
into the
but
woods, when Aloy takes a moment to lift her head up from whichever part of muffin she's been sitting in, Caleb is basically squatting down across from her, looking at her.
yeah, basically he just stealthed up to you. Aloy. Smeagol.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this one has just basically you were making sure all the connections on the haste machine were there for
Yeah,
Muffin.
it's like-
You look up and across Muffin's back, like 3 feet away from you, suddenly Caleb.
Haggard.
Aloy.
I hold up the widget. Click. Whir.
I need a pencil and some paper.
The expression
Whir. Click. Putting it away. Pulling out a few spare bits of paper. Pencil.
Thank you. I need to go and try to draw a map so we know where we're going.
Click. Back into Muffin. Whir.
That ain't right.
To be fair, given her reaction, you've got to figure neither is Caleb asking for pencil and paper.
That's fair.
So yeah, you draw the cartological equivalent of a stick figure. But it's got everything in more or less the right place. So, that little box is the house, and that little box is the shed, and that little box is where you're probably going to find an awful lot of eviscerated cattle, and that X right there is where you need to go.
Okay.
But to be honest, until you've explained that to everybody else, it's just going to look like The
Caleb
fuck.
age 6.
Oh, just the fuck, basically.
My, that's a lovely looking dog.
Which is
That's
what
a
Reba will
house.
probably say as she walks back in when Marta, with a couple of fairly thick-looking books, bound in a leather that looks like nothing she's ever seen. The scales are of a the leather is scale grainy in a way that Reba's never seen. Caleb, as she walks past him, has never seen either. Wyvern.
Bless you.
No, that's what they're bound in.
Okay.
Dragons have got 4 legs and wings. Wyverns have got 2 legs and wings. And they're smaller, mostly.
Oh. Okay. There's no humor in that. That was information absorbed. Oh, this is
She
important.
actually pulls out one of the books. Okay. And it shows him fairy dragon,
Seen one of those.
dragon hatchling, and they're sized for scale. So, no pun intended. Dragon hatchling, wyvern, young dragon, adult dragon, ancient dragon. Unfolds. Folds back up.
That's awful big.
The metallic ones ain't so bad. A little weird, but ain't so bad. It's the chromatics you gotta watch out for.
Okay.
Well, all right then.
I drew a map.
Oh, is that what that is?
Thank you for saying that. Look,
I couldn't tell.
rummage is around here. Why don't you put those marks there on this, and basically shows what's effectively a survey map of the 3 or 4 farms of the area. That's the one you want. So
Oh.
if you mark off the various bits, at least it'll be easier to read. But if that's where I think it is, it sounds like Reba can show you the way pretty easily.
Oh yeah, it's a swamp.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But you're right, it's good for everybody to know a route if they need to. Although, if we're doing it the way I hope we'll be able to do it, if I've got all the materials I need for this, we will need to stick together for that. I'll explain in the morning. I don't want to do it more than once.
We need to stick together anyway.
Yeah, but I'll need y'all to do one favor for when I explain this. Shut Aloy up. I will not be able to get an explanation out if she starts asking me questions when I explain what I'm going to do. Speaking of, puts the books down on in a corner of the balcony. I promised I'd get her in a bed or direction. There's some nice sleepy tea on the stove if you want it. And pads out to the front and reaches into an apron pocket, pulls out a bread roll, and boonk in the back of Aloy's head. It's got some cinnamon in it. Call it a late night snack. You need to get some sleep.
Right.
There is tea for that purpose in the kitchen.
Okay.
It goes back through, and on the way she's coming for tea. Do not tell her that I am reading, and do not tell her what. And sits down where Reba was sitting.
Okay.
With mug of coffee. She won't.
Oh.
If I try to explain, if she sees this, she will try to make me explain. She will not go to sleep and will not shut up.
That's not what I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay, what did you want to talk to me about?
How many deputies went on the farm?
Honestly, I don't know exactly how many, but Depending on who all he up and deputized, which he probably would have done, because I mean, my husband ain't exactly, but they knew they would have needed folks, so I had to say somewhere between a half dozen and 8.
At least 2 of them ain't coming home. I tripped over pieces of one and saw another walking sort of by with the other things.
I cannot think about that right now. I have some reading to do. But thank you. We'll see how
Okay.
bad it is in the morning.
I just didn't want that to be a secret or a surprise. I didn't think that'd go well.
No, I just would have preferred to be able to do my studying without that in the back of my mind. If this kind of situation ever comes up again, try and wait until the morning, preferably after breakfast has been eaten, because that's going to kill an appetite. But thank you. Pats him on the shoulder. Tea, there's some sweet rolls in the little basket. And Aloy probably troops in with her bun at that point.
Do-do-do-do.
Come on, Aloy. Let's get you some tea in you.
Yes,
And
it is.
steers her, like, just kind of steers her into the kitchen quickly.
And Martha goes out the back door to sit and quietly read and keep watch and contemplate whether her husband was the shambler or the one who is in bits, or if something worse has happened to him, or that's gonna make studying fun. Thanks for that. On the bright side, it does mean she's not gonna fall asleep in her post, or possibly ever again. Anyway, because this is a good break point and we are at about that time, we will take a quick break, and when we come back, we will see what your resident wizard has in store for you and what's on the other side of Yum Portal, if you can manage to get there without being torn apart by anything.
Yep.
And we're back. Everybody has got a bit rested up and generally not too bad. Jillian has actually managed to wake up minus hangover.
Jillian needs to
A little bit of a
take a moment to
thumpy head, but sorry.
Jillian needs to take a moment to try to unmove her head, and then very much needs to pray for guidance, because it had previously been a day,
Okay.
and then she'll head down.
So, I mean, yeah, you guys, the rest of you wake up from your little basement beds and you see Jillian sort of knelt at the bed praying.
I just quietly make my way down.
Up. Because basement, remember?
Ah, right. Sorry.
Not that much further down you can go unless you want to get to places you really don't want to be.
Not again.
Anyway. So, yes, once you get upstairs, there is the sun is only just starting to come up, and there is a hearty breakfast spread out on the table, and Martha's apparently got some sleep, but she's back to the reading in the interestingly bound books. And she is quietly listening while I go and get my drink, which I left on the table. Excuse me. Talk amongst yourselves.
So Aloy here did a thing last night.
Did
That
she
is,
now?
A bit interesting to note.
Bounce, 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 bounce.
Is
bounce,
it
bounce, bounce.
now?
Bounce, 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 bounce,
I'm
bounce,
right
bounce, bounce,
down here
bounce,
to
bounce,
shoot
bounce, bounce,
something.
bounce.
No, it's actually, it's good. It actually is legitimately good. And there was a test run done that went without a hitch.
Muffin
You
is
want to
made to
explain,
go
Aloy?
fast.
Say that again a little slower.
Muffin is made. It gotta go fast now.
There's some trees right over
Uh-huh.
there.
Okay, you know that spell I can put into like greenbacks that makes you go fat. That makes at least Reba go faster. And if I gave it to you, it'd make you go fast.
Spell's called haste, by the way, from basically fork in one hand, flip.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
can
built
do
a
that
bigger
one, too.
version of my haste generator. Holds up the pocket watch, and plugged that into Muffin.
So now Muffin can do it too. Well,
That
here
sounds
and there.
painful.
Well, it's only, what was it, a minute, Aloy?
Yeah, one full minute of max speed, then 6 seconds cooldown, and then that thing's gonna be off for the rest of the day.
I gotta admit, it was impressive. It was impressive.
Flip. Munch.
That whole
Caleb, for
It-
his part, is
it-
actually
so,
going through, so she
like the
doesn't
math
have to
behind
stop
it is less
messing.
about like physically accelerating and more about, well, there's whole like scribblings I'd have to do to fully explain.
Please
Anyway.
don't. We're running out of room on the table. Flip.
And I can do the spell. I understand. It's fine.
Point
So
being,
instead of her
Aloy.
having to take her away from the book, Caleb is actually moving the food around so as much serving as his clunkiness can be.
Thank you very much. Flip.
Actually reminds me, I'm gonna. I should probably do this a little bit preemptively because if we're gonna go anywhere, we're probably gonna need it.
Could you please do it in another room or
Yeah.
preferably outside? Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
I'm gonna head outside, put haste into 2 greenbacks, come back in with the faintly glowing one to Reba, one
Yep.
to Jillian.
Reba just holds out her hand automatic. Just thank you.
Thank you.
Got a pocket set aside for it.
At least I'm getting use out of that.
Well, I should think so. Haste is a pretty good utility spell.
Oh, less the spell, more the money.
Okay, that's actually a bit more fair. So, how do y'all feel about being invisible?
Ooh,
I like it.
yes, please.
Yeah, I can't do spells of that magnitude very often, but it's bad enough to get us there without getting spotted. As long as we don't try to attack anything or bump into anything or anything like that. And still just flip.
Jillian, how you feeling?
Fine. Ready to go.
Loquacious as usual. Caleb, what'd you see? Do I want to ask?
Well, I could only count 3 of them for sure. They were moving too fast.
Oh,
But,
so oh boy. Okay. Were you able to suss out? Well, you were able to suss out around where we got to go. That was I'm sorry about the map comment. I honestly just didn't know what it was. I apologize.
he still got the pencil in it pocket because.
I mean, once you set it down and I had
you
to
see
compare it.
this. I don't use these real often.
That's fair. I mean, once I got it, once I knew what it was, I could suss it out. But
That wasn't supposed to happen.
oh, whoops.
Well, sorry, I'm just looking into seeing if I can't do something about trying to keep that thing where it belongs.
The
Undertaker looking motherfucker.
no, I get you there. I don't blame you either. the monstrous looking ones that I did see were running all the animals off.
Yeah, no, there was a bit of an exodus of
Yeah,
all the bunch of critters,
they ran
and
all
probably a
of them
bunch I
up.
didn't see, but I managed to stop one of the barn cats just long enough for it to yell at me, "We're running away. What do you want?" And I just wanted to make. I could tell from the tone he was giving me that yeah, it was as bad as I feared. So
I saw them run the herd dogs, and it was close.
I'm glad they got out.
The horses and the cows weren't so lucky. That was not a pretty sound.
It never is.
Well, based on what I could tell, what I could feel, and what I could transpose onto the surveying map, it's not only just that it's coming from the swamp, but we got to go back to where we found you. Now, I drew
Of
this
course.
out not because me or you would have a problem finding it, but it's going to be real good for us to know exactly where we need to go.
Oh no, it was. I mean, yeah, right there, but yeah, no, you're right. The thought was sound.
Maybe next time I get a chance, I'll take a map making class. Thank you for breakfast.
It's quite alright. I had some thinking to do, and I'm still doing a little bit of reading to see how prepared I can actually be insofar as this.
What kind of armaments do we have outside of guns? I have a bow and I have a knife. Do we have any other form of weapon that we can do that's not going to be super loud?
Reba just
mean-
smiles and pulls out her hatchet.
We've got a muffin.
Holds
Or
out a hand.
tomahawk, rather.
Holds out a hand, and palm fills with flame.
Now that's not loud.
She just pulls out her
Terrifying,
tomahawk.
not loud.
I can also, when you've walked across some kind of shoddy carpet and then you touch a metal doorknob and bzzzt. I can
Haven't seen
do
carpet in a while, but yeah.
I can do a, let's just say, a more painful version of that. And I might be able to ask for a little bit of assistance once we get there. The folks you talk to, Reba, they seem the type who might be amenable to getting called to do a bit of aid if it's worded right.
Yeah. I mean,
Goes back
that
to
was
the book.
we were trying that when got sent upstairs, I suppose, for lack of a better way to put it.
Well, see, I can call them and bind them. Might not actually need to do much in the way of binding if they're friendly like.
I was about to say.
It's either that or try to bind your Undertaker-looking motherfucker, but unfortunately that don't hold long term, and probably try and come back and get at me.
Yeah, I don't like that risk.
Well, the reason that I ask about the whole quiet weapons is I don't know how many. I was not able to
Yeah, but
Make
Well,
us feel
thing is,
comfortable.
they ain't gonna see us.
yeah, if we're invisible, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if my understanding of how that works, because I've seen it done once. As soon as you lash out at something, it stops. So we're not going to want to be using anything, knocking
Okay.
into anything or whatnot
Keep
to
in
begin
mind,
with.
there are some things that can see through that. I can't
Mm,
cast the higher,
gotcha.
stronger version of that on
So we
multiple people.
so we might want to be as stealthy as we can anyway. We're not going to help with that. I have before.
I'd be careful about doubling magics on magics. I'd just keep out of immediate
Fair enough.
scent at set for range.
That's
So,
fair.
in that case, are we just going to try and make a go for wherever the rift is and just go through without making any ruckus at all?
That would be useful. At the very least, if
Hmm.
we close it up, that means we know exactly what we're going to need to deal with when we clean out the property.
Yep. And I'm going to. It's going to. Just too many. I can't say much of anything until we get on the other side and see what's what. I mean, I like to say I ain't going to shut it. I'm not going to shut myself in there, but if I got to, I'm going to.
Well, as you said, there's ways out.
Hmm.
There's a couple of things I was thinking of, but again, I don't know how many or if I'm going to be able to pull it off at all.
And then there's always points at Caleb. That whole thing.
That's what we were talking about with the
Hmm.
other options.
But I'm going to say this now. I will shut this down some one way or another.
Of course we will.
That was kind of the point.
All right.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going to play the martyr if I ain't gotta, because ancestors know there's going to be more messes to clean up. But I ain't seen one this big, and it's got to be put down.
First thing is close the rift, then we clean up everything else so we know that it's not piling up behind us.
Yep.
So, you're looking at a lot of studies, and I can't read it if you put it in my face, but is there anything that we can do to help you once we get that part done? You were talking about other options.
Keep things from hitting me.
That we can do.
Yep.
I imagine that once we get there, we're probably going to at least have to fight that Undertaker thing. And I ain't got no idea what its power set is like. But
Neither do we.
I have a feeling that it ain't going to be quite what... How do I explain this? There's kinds of magic. I mean, you all know that. We call them schools.
Hmm.
Mine involves knowing things. I don't know.
Useful.
I don't know much. It's always a bit vaguey. But I tell you this: if we're having to fight that thing, keep it facing away from me. It doesn't look like what I think it should look like for what this is saying it can do. But any of y'all who are going to be relying on magic, do not be standing directly in its line of sight.
Noted.
I don't know if that counts for you. Looks up from book at Jillian.
I wouldn't call what I do magic. Not in your sense, at least. Not in what Reba does, and I have always less of understanding of what Caleb does. But hard to say.
we'd mostly call yours abjuration. But it's
Bless you.
also it means abjuration magic is fuck off magic.
Ah!
I suppose that's one way to put it.
It's keep away from me magic. It's don't do that thing that you're doing at me magic.
That's fair.
I think I heard of something like that once. Maybe called wards. I don't know.
Yeah, wards is a big part of abjuration. Not my specialty, but I can do a few things. But it's kind of like evocate. Abjuration is fuck off magic. Evocation is fuck you magic.
Awful lot of fucking in your magic.
Do not make me demonstrate shock and grasp on you. We cannot. I'm trying to put it in layman's terms, and
I
apparently,
appreciate it.
no, you don't, or else you'd be shutting up and listening instead of making jokes. Alright, well, I think I've got just about everything I need. And since we ain't exactly... Does anybody else have anything else they need to prepare? Bits and pieces they need to gather? Anything along that line?
Nope.
Damn it.
No, you keep clicking the wrong thing.
I'm aiming for the gear, and apparently I'm missing.
That's
Pulls out. I'll wait and cast this when we're right on the edge of the forest. Every little's going to help at this point. Now, we're not going to be able to see each other either.
makes sense.
So, Caleb, you know where we need to go, and you're the best woodsman mover, so you're going to be head of the line. Reba's going to be directly behind you. I'm going to be in the middle, because I'm going to need the cover, let's face it. Jillian's going to be directly behind me. Aloy, I'm hoping it's going to work for Muffin, but we're going to have to try and keep a hold of each other. So if you can, Aloy, if you can keep a hand on Jillian's, say, head or something while you're riding on Muffin, just keep Muffin moving human walking pace. Everybody else, hands on the shoulders of the person at the head of the line.
Mm-hmm.
And try and stay quiet. Alright. Let's get moving.
Yep.
Head out to the edge of the property and sort of arranges everybody in the line. And with the with the hand that's not on Reba's shoulder, she holds up this very short hair, apparently encased in gum arabic, crushes it between her fingers, and you're all gone. Muffin included. Shut up.
So I have in the hand that I'm not holding on to Reba with my Bowie knife. And
Well, no, Reba's
will
behind
sit.
you with the hand on your
Mhm.
shoulders. You're not holding anybody.
Okay.
That's the other reason she wanted you at the head of the line.
Okay. Well, we will set forth.
Okay. Just to be on the safe side, as it were, stealth with advantage.
Two nat ones.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, which explains Martha's crap roll. Okay, everybody can stop rolling now, because what happens is Reba trips over Caleb, pulls Martha down with her. Thankfully, she maintains concentration. And yeah, okay. Yeah, Caleb gets nearly taken. And actually, no. Given that roll, when Reba goes down, she pulls Caleb and Martha down with her. Thankfully, Jillian manages to keep hold of Martha as Martha trips over Reba, and uh, Aloy has to lean with one arm hooked around Muffin's neck to keep hold of Jillian. Can we try that again, please?
Yep.
Mm,
Everybody get back up and do this properly. I will let the ones that actually rolled reasonably well keep their rolls, and we'll try that again.
19 that time.
Got I roll Muffin's stealth as a.
Yeah, Muffin's hard to be stealthy, but thankfully the forest noises more or less cover for him. Reba's gonna have to do something about the fact that Caleb is low under his breath swearing for the first couple of minutes unless she does something.
Shh. Caleb. I'm sorry. Shh.
However, taken as an average, you fortunate souls, the various things that are rampaging around the place don't seem to notice. It's kind of hard to watch, however, because at one point you see entrails that you're fairly sure aren't human, but it's runners of intestine draped through tree branches like garlands, and a carcass of one of those herd dogs hung up in a tree like some predator cats do for sort of later snacking. Another one of the deputies shambles past on one missing foot and about half of his face gone. This is not, thankfully, Martha's husband, but still. You do see the half a rib cage that Caleb found, and there's more chunks, maybe of the same deputy, maybe not. There's sort of Reba steps on a hand at some point. Muffin is making one quiet, disturbed boop, but
Brief sort of hug from me.
mostly stays quiet beyond the occasional gear squeak and things like that. As you approach the swamp, there's rather smaller bits of exploded small rodent meat, so probably some of the squirrels didn't get away. Somebody has apparently turned one of the alligators inside out.
Mm.
I mean, just literally, skin open, rib cage splayed, and it's like somebody stuck a stick of dynamite in there and just. And in just over where they had Reba tied is a rip in the air. Reba can almost, Reba and Caleb, frankly, can almost feel it bleeding. Can't see what's on the other side from where you are. Mostly what you see is a kind of a eye-watering nothing. And this kind of just at the edge of hearing, that when you've got a particularly bad migraine, that buzzing whine.
Ooh, ooh. Or when like a TV is on the
No,
blink, just
no,
right?
it's
No.
it's
Oh,
it's
different.
it, it it's the reason I liken it more to the migraine is because it comes with that vertiginous kind of sick feeling.
Oh, gotcha.
It's like the soundtrack to that.
Ah, okay. Now I
Everything
understand.
is off balance rather than just faint annoyance like a mosquito getting caught in. It's that sickening, eye-watering
Hmm.
kind of
Yeah,
noise.
there's a nausea component to that I was missing. Thank you. Now I understand.
And while Caleb has seen one proper portal in his life before, this is the first time for the rest of you. Are you...
Jillian just squints and then looks
Doesn't feel
around for
good.
anything else.
Shut up. Are we going through or not?
Yes. Go. Get up. Go.
Well, he didn't stop.
You have to... I was waiting because you have to say, when you reach a key point like that, you kind of gotta turn the page proper rather than just making the assumption.
So I figure what happened is everybody else kind of pulled back in revulsion, and eventually he realized because there's more pressure from Reba, and he's kind of put his hand on what he assumed was her hand and pulled forward.
Okay, so
Which gets him a squeeze on the shoulder from Reba of acknowledgement, and she will continue forward with him.
so coming in through the... Basically what you see is low-ish stone outcroppings at first, and beyond them very little but apparently void. Wherever you are, it's a chunk of something and a whole lot of nothing. Off to your almost immediate left, there's a chunk of white stone, jagged and kind of like a cross between chalk, bone, and quartz that's also emitting that buzzing hum. And Aloy knows exactly what this is. She's seen Ghost Rock before. Most of the rest of you have heard stories, and this is a chunk like about half the size of Muffin's torso.
That's a big hunk of ghost rock right there.
Jillian percepts for anything moving.
Okay. By this time, because of the comedy over at the start of this, it's taken you about an hour to do that patrol, so the invisibility is gone. Forgot how hard that was to hold. I'd never done it for so many people before.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
Got us here, and I'm sorry about falling on my face. Not used to, not used to being daisy chained like that.
Yeah, from the immediate sight of the tear, most of what the only sense you really get is that this opens out. There's a faint sense of heat from further up and to your left, but beyond that, you're not seeing a whole lot.
Beth, is this? And I may have no point of reference for this at all, but the landscape here, is this remotely quote unquote natural, or is this something far outside of what I'm used to?
You've seen a portal once and you probably looked through it at minimum. This is the kind of thing you would probably find in what I can only call Reckoner territory.
Hmm. Okay. That's not good. Everybody stay alert. We're in the land of the reckoners now.
Gathered that much.
Good to have confirmation regardless, though. Don't.
Yeah.
He puts the knife away and just draws his gun without saying anything. It's
Well, now we find a way to stop whatever it is they're doing. Close this up, or find the Undertaker-looking motherfucker or something.
you smart people get to work, figure out what we need to do, make
Mhm.
sure nothing stinks up on us.
We need to proceed a little more, though. Not that much light around here, although there's a faint bit of glow coming from points forward and to the left where, yeah, if you got it pointed to you, it's,
Yep.
although it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of cover here, so,
How about I go and check it out?
okay, careful.
Yep.
I'm gonna try and be stealthy and not fuck it up.
Okay, show on the, I understand that, a fog of war did, so most of what you're seeing is black, but if you can demonstrate how far you're gonna go.
Okay, so I'm assuming that the yellow glow is the
That
direction we came from.
you. Let me
All right.
Oh, okay.
let me
And
put
she
you
is
where approximately
yes.
you would be. So,
Okay.
and I should switch to select a move here. So, actually, that means I should probably reveal a little bit more there. Yeah, you can see it sort of stretches off in that kind of
Oh, okay.
direction and in that kind of direction.
Okay. And off to my left then is where she was pointing where the other light was coming from.
So
So that,
west.
yeah, that general direction, yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm getting my left and my right
I'm
mixed.
gonna try and go, let's say, here-ish and back.
Okay. Fortunately for you, there is cover in that general direction, and that'll give you a good view of sort of that
Jeebus.
general vicinity. So let me just, yeah, 'cause you'll be able to see sort of that'll about do. So yeah, what you got as you shift your ass over there and give me stealth. Okay. Aloy. Sort of muffin-ish. Should I probably swap those? No, I tell a lie. A muffin would be ahead of his. This is Aloy. So yeah, as Caleb stealths in that general direction, he sees cover and goes for it, and finds himself within a few inches of another chunk of the ghost rock and a terrible lot of bones, some of them old and crumbling, some in various degrees of freshness, a couple still fresh enough to have strips of flesh still attached. There's another bit of cover directly in front of him, and that's got more ghost rock growing out of it. There's whole big chunks of it behind him. And a lot of what's blocking the rest of this is blocked off by what appears to be some kind of lava flow, so it's getting uncomfortably hot where he is. And on a raised chunk of the rock that this whatever platform you're on is made of is an altar, and behind it, your Undertaker looking motherfucker. Behind him looks almost like Ghost Rock, but it's a odd shade of red.
Is there any sound coming from any of this? The ghost rock, the red, the dude. Is he chanting or anything like that?
All you had to ask was, is there any sound?
Oh, okay.
The Ghost Rock is still making that chittering, eye-watering hum. That appears to be a natural state of affairs for it. You're too far away from the red stuff to know. There's that rumble you get from when you're standing near something quite hot from the lava. And give me another perception check. He might be chanting, but you're too far away and there's too much other noise, and that sound is really aggravating. You've never been near this much ghost rock.
Okay.
So you have that information. What are you going to do with it?
Well, I see that the lava flow kind of goes out from where I'm currently hiding. From where I'm sitting, it looks, what little bit I can see, I don't see a way around it. Correct?
Doesn't appear so, no.
Okay, then I'd like to try and move to that next outcropping of rocks so that I'm staying within cover and try and see
What, this
if I
one?
can find a way. Yeah, to
Okay.
try and see if I can find a way around the lava flow.
Okay, roll me stealth again. Okay, and there's Martha, by the way.
So again,
Stealth?
oh, okay.
You. You're the only one moving right now.
No, I didn't hear what you said about
Oh,
Martha. I saw it when I scrolled back up.
that's yoink.
Jeebus.
You're about to move.
Wait, was that supposed to be with advantage or not?
Nope, but
Okay.
as you're about to move, something hits you in the shoulder and you freeze. It's another bread roll from Martha, who's pauses for a couple of seconds and then waves you on. Are you gonna go? 'Cause she's very
Yeah.
much okay. As basically, as you're dashing for that bit of cover as stealthily as you can see he had been facing in that general direction and he was turning away when you went past him. So that's blowing her 15 portent. Because that would have been a +3, so that 6 becomes an 18. She apparently knew that that was the worst time to do that, and made sure that you went at a much better time.
Noted. I'll look back and nod. That's about all I can do right now. Okay, so from here,
So
what
from
vantage
here,
do
what
I
do you
have?
see? Yeah, you see, really, everything kind of stops there, apart from just beyond this way, where again, more ghost rock, more what appears to be rubble, but no, there's no way around that. And there's a place where it's narrower. You can see it about there, but
Right.
it'd be a bit of a leap.
And nothing with any cover at all. Okay. Well, that's about the best I can do for recon. I'll glance back at him and then look at Martha, and if it's not obvious to me that I'm gonna do something stupid, I'm gonna try and stealth back.
Well, roll stealth and see how badly she has to save you, because these are the kinds of things you... Oh, for fuck's sake. You know what? At this point, because she's only got 2 more of those, and she's actually trying to save them for when they might be a little bit more useful, she doesn't have time to warn you before you trip over an outcropping of rock and thud! And he turns and looks at you. Because you are currently prone and not exactly going to be doing very much at this stage beyond swearing. Probably. Let's see. Oh, you are so fucked. Let's see how it's perception. Oh, fuck. And it knows where each and every single one of you is. Oh, that's bad. Okay.
I can only hear bits and pieces of what you're saying, so I'm not
Yeah,
sure what just happened.
it knows you're there. So it's going to move forward a little bit, standing on top of that altar you were seeing. Caleb, can you make me a Constitution saving throw?
Sure. I hope. Well, I made one.
Yeah, okay, you are currently paralyzed. Also, can you make me a oh god, no, you can't even make the strength saving throw because you're paralyzed. First thing that happens is you literally cannot move. And then you're lifted into the air in a wide arc. Punk. Into the lava, at which point you take... Yeah, that's gonna be painful. 15 points of fire damage.
How many?
15.
Oh, okay.
And the third one is going to be... Yeah, that'll go to Reba. Can you make me a dexterity saving throw?
Nope. 7.
You are petrified.
You
You have basically been turned to stone. Again.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is not an unfamiliar sensation.
And I would
As a
now
player.
I would now like you all to roll initiative. In
So-
case anybody was wondering, I am borrowing the stat block for beholders for this.
Yeah. As soon as yeah, okay. Should I bother
Maybe
since
like
I'm literally
one?
stone
Yeah.
at this point?
Yes, because at the end of
Okay.
your turn, you can try to make a roll to get out of this.
Oh, okay. Muffin got a nat 20. Of all people to get a nat 20. 7.
Something weird just came up. Did my roll show up?
Yeah, that's normal. You're saying that you wanted to send the result of this, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, that's normal.
Okay. I'm gonna
Yours did.
Muffin. That was actually that initiative initially was. Now I see what the issue is. Let me try this again with Muffin because that was not Muffin's actual initiative. That's Muffin's actual initiative.
Oh, I see. Neat.
Yeah, that first roll was me.
Oh no, I get it. You're over-explaining again.
Yep.
Okay, first up, Jillian.
Okay. So I'm just checking the speed. Julian moves to go and duck behind that rock.
Okay.
And then we're going to violent shot and branding smite. She's gonna do the behold thing. I heard a noise.
Technically, it's a spell. The violent shot works. The branding smite doesn't.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
looking
that's
at
fair.
you.
Yeah, that is fair. I appreciate that. So she'll just aim very carefully.
Well, she won't know until she's actually fired the shot, because she's...
She'll just do the shot.
Yeah.
And she'll crit.
Roll damage!
Jesus!
So if it's the crit plus the violent shot, do I do the damage roll again?
No.
Yet again?
Hang on, let me... Or get punched in the hands. No, it's one additional weapon damage die. It means
Oh, okay.
it means one extra of. I mean, you're rolling 2d8, so you'd roll another d8. So we'll take that
Okay.
first bit of damage. And
No,
roll
I
another
did
d8.
that for the crit. Okay, so it's 8.
Well, no, the pluses there are the crit.
Crits double the
Oh,
amount
I
of dice
see.
rolled.
Yeah, it's the amount
Okay,
of
okay.
dice rolled, not the. So that's 21, 31, 32. Okay.
And then she's gonna fire again.
Okay. No. As she's aiming the shot, Martha yells, "Pull up!" And the sheer what the fuck actually changes her aim. So the shot that she all of a sudden realizes was going to go completely wide does in fact hit. That's her 18 portent that she was saving for a rainy day. So let me just check. Can you still roll damage? You can still roll damage. And now I have done. And apparently, even roll 20's fucking RNG loves me.
What the hell?
So that's 33. So that's yeah. She's taken some significant chunks out of this guy. Although the fact that the smite didn't work all of a sudden has Jillian realizing that God is maybe not here. Or at least not when that fucking thing is looking in her general direction. And now
And then
oh, sorry, bonus action? Yes.
bonus action to load up her last 6 silver bullets.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh no.
Now it's its turn. It doesn't like you very much. Can you make me a dexterity saving throw, please?
At least one of us can.
Do you have any fucking idea how lucky you are?
I do.
Oh no, trust me, this makes what happened to you look tame. Okay, now can you make me a wisdom saving throw, please? Oh,
Beholders.
it hates you so fucking much, right?
Beholders and their goddamn saber
Okay,
suck lasers.
now can you make me a constitution saving throw?
Oh, this is stressful.
Oh my god! Let me explain to you what you just avoided. First one, Death Ray. The targeted creature must succeed on a DC 16 saving throw or take 55 10d10 necrotic damage. The target dies if the ray reduces it to 0 hit points.
Oh.
And that would have been 10, and I would have been rolling the 10d10. So, number 2 was Fear Ray. The targeted creature must succeed on a DC 16 wisdom saving throw or be frightened for 1 minute. You know the frightened condition by now. And number 3 was an innervation ray. The targeted creature must make a DC 16 Constitution saving throw, taking 3d6 necrotic damage on a failed save, etc., etc. So you just avoided everything. So maybe God is here, but it's not letting you attack with the holy light of God. So maybe get
good to know.
someone to make it look elsewhere for a while. This is gonna make Martha's thing really fucking complicated. Okay, which yeah, it does mean that it's her turn. I think her, I don't know, anything of magic in that area is gonna. Fuck it, this is the point at which I have to pull out the big guns. Assuming I can actually find the, No, at this point I'm going to say she's prepped it in advance. She takes what those of you standing around her and capable of actually seeing will note is probably her, probably every chunk of jewelry she's got. And is just sort of muttering in a language that none of you understand. At which point, she couldn't pull anything too iffy, but you guys do get yourselves into so much trouble. Yeah, actually I know exactly what she's going to do, because this is going to be fucking awesome. Basically, directly in front of, they turn to stone Reba and Aloy and Muffin, stands this gigantic red-skinned, horned, winged, bipedal, the epitome of devil. It's large, it's holding this massive glaive, and she turns around to it and she says, "Keep us alive and help us destroy that." It points around the corner to where that thing in the black suit is our enemy. We live, it dies. And then she has picked the correct words to use her one portent to cancel out its charisma saving throw.
Oh, Christ! What?
And it's theirs for the day.
We have, what is that, a Baylor?
Nope, that's a pit fiend.
Holy shit! That's the fiend equivalent of a Baylor. What the fuck?
Well, it's celestial, fey, or fiend, and she had the one. And I just thought, fuck it, why not? You guys are otherwise so very, very, very screwed. So let me just...
That is an entire pit fiend!
Yes, yeah, that is it.
That is literally a mountain of HP bullshit!
Yes, and it's going to keep that fucker facing away from you.
I love this woman!
Come on, I must have demons or something somewhere. Okay, Dungeon Master Essentials. Harpy, Satyr, Minotaur, fucking hell. I don't seem to... I need to buy more tabs. But because it was a 1, the, it's not trying to squirm too far out of it, so it will go on her turn, and basically turns around to this thing, and I'm now gonna have to. This is gonna be a Matt playing with his toys bit of bullshit. It really, really is. Well, I had to do something.
Oh, I'm not saying this is remotely unfair. This is amazing.
Okay, so. Okay. Yeah. Oh god. Actually, first of all, it has to make the. Oh my god. It flies over and this thing's fear aura has now actually got fucking. Yeah, so now the Undertaker looking motherfucker is terrified.
This is awesome, but I can't react because I'm stoned. Sorry.
Okay, so the bite does... That's cocked. 10, 17 plus 20. That's 25. Claw. Fucking hell. 2d8. So that's 21. So 2d8 plus 8, so that's 13. Mace. Tail. 3d10, are you fucking kidding me? So that's 7, 14, 15, 25. So, yeah, the challenge rating 20 Pit Fiend versus challenge rating 13 Beholder. This thing's down to 45 hit points. As this thing proceeds to fuck this thing up. And given the sheer... Oh god, now I'm gonna have to roll concentration checks for... No, can you... I want you to turn around. Can you turn... There you go. Thank you very much. So, okay, that's concentration rolls for... Yeah, no, Caleb can move. And Reba is now no longer stone, and she blinks, and all of a sudden this massive red devil thing is beating the living shit out of the Undertaker-looking dude, who's actually rather bigger than she remembers. But yeah, Caleb, it's your turn. You might want to move.
Okay, yes. If I have that option, I am definitely getting out of the lava.
Yes, where do you want to go?
Okay, so other than out,
If
I
you
want
move
to be
any,
where
if you move anywhere but back, you will take another round of fire damage. Unless you're probably gonna. No, if you just got out, if you went there, yeah,
Okay, yeah,
then no fire damage
okay.
beyond what you've already got. If you move further in, you would have to take fire damage because
Yeah, no, I'm not that crazy.
So
My
there.
only real concern, yeah, is I know you had said this is a raised outcropping, but do I still have a shot?
Yeah, you have a shot. It's not raised that high.
Okay. And I don't remember how movement works. Do I still have the ability to take a shot?
Basically, it's the what you have in a D&D turn consists of movement, which is whatever movement speed you've got, anywhere up to, I think, because you're human, 30 feet. Action, you think you get 2 attacks at your level, and bonus action.
Okay. Well then. I am not happy with this thing at all.
On the bright side, it's looking pretty fucked up.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's backs to me, and I have this. How badly fucked up is my hunting rifle?
Thankfully, sort of, you landed on your face. And while you're kind of burned, it's nothing that's going to scar, really, particularly not with the kind of healing you guys have got. So your rifle's okay.
Okay. So
Mostly because I don't want to deal with weapon damage. I do enough of that in Guild Wars 2. Thank you very much.
Do I just need to click on the name or the damage type?
No, you click on the name. Christ, now I need to figure out whether that hits, because I was rolling. The lowest roll was a 17, and the Pit Fiend has a plus 14 to hit. So, yeah, that was. Oh, Caleb misses.
Okay.
You get a second shot.
Okay.
That hits. Roll damage. Just click on hunting rifle plus 2. This is mostly it's the
No,
okay,
not there in the
no in
chat.
in under the 22, just there in
Okay.
the box. Okay, so yeah, that's you managed to take another chunk out of its shoulder. It is really looking abysmal, although between Remy's shots and this thing, it's yeah. Do you have a bonus action?
I'm honestly not sure. I'm not seeing it listed anywhere.
Oh, it's more in which case you probably don't, because basically it's down to, you know, what that's if you have a spell that can do a thing that counts as a bonus action or something like that, then but
Not
in your
really.
case, rangers don't usually. So Muffin. Although given you might want to keep Muffin out of the fray, Muffin's gonna melt.
Yeah, I'm always gonna go Muffin. Need you to stay right here, okay?
Boop boop. Boop. Reba.
Okay, Reba is going to bonus action first. Actually, let me double check distance. Move a little bit in. I'm going to go right about there.
Okay.
I will use bonus action to summon. Where'd it go? That wasn't the one I wanted. Where'd it go? Yeah, I want to do. I'm going to do summon totem, and it's going to be unicorn spirit, centered on Caleb.
Okay. I think I might need to look at your character sheet to remember what the hell that does.
Summon an incorporeal spirit to a point you can see within 60 feet. Creates an aura of 30-foot radius. Actually, wait, I forgot it was a 30-foot radius. In that case, can I center it here
Yeah, that should be
and
fine.
hit
Let me
both
just-
Jillian? I know Jillian hasn't taken any damage. This is a just in case, but Caleb has.
So, show me again.
I think that would hit both. Is there space there, or is there too much rock? I can't quite tell.
Well, it's a 30-foot radius. You're looking at 30-foot diameter. You're fine.
Oh, my bad. Forgot. Sorry. It's been a while since geometry was a thing for me.
Yeah, radius is the distance
Half.
from the center to the edge.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. Then I've got more than enough. Okay. Excellent. And then
Just let me
I go over.
make that a little bit
Yeah,
more.
some spells are big.
Hang on. How many hit points does the man get back?
Oh, that I'm getting to. Because the unicorn, you and your allies gain advantage on ability checks made to detect creatures in the spirits, or if you cast a spell using a spell slot that restores hit points,
Okay.
which I haven't done yet. I'm getting
Okay. That's fair. Fair.
it just means I get each creature of your choice in the aura also regains hit points equal to my druid level. So basically just get an extra
9.
whatever my 9. That's right. So that's going to be wood. I should have asked this before I do all this, but healing spirit. If I oh wait, they're both concentration, aren't they? Crap, never mind. Fuck myself over. Oh well. Shite. I didn't even catch that because I was and I was doing so well, plotting everything right at a time. Sorry.
That's always look for concentration. Always look for
Yep.
concentration.
No, you're absolutely right. I missed the little mark because I was looking at the gear instead. Okay. In that case, oops. Oh, good. It didn't pop. Okay, good. In that case, I'm going to give it a shot. I'll do Toll the Dead on it.
Okay. Put the spell up. I don't know if I did a clicky for it.
I don't. Oh, right. It's gonna.
Oh, that's another save or suck, isn't it?
Yep.
It's a cantrip, but it's giving me cast at what level?
Because sometimes it's stupid.
I just hit submit. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it's a wisdom save. It's the only distance damage I can do right now, and I'm not about to try to get close. Oh, the DC
Yeah, please.
is spell save DC is 15.
Natural 14. And it's charisma. No, wisdom.
Wisdom.
Wisdom plus 2.
Damn.
Aloy.
I'm going to stump over to Jillian. And I can see this jerk from there.
Oh yeah. And man, is that jerk fucked up.
I'm going to charge up the Thunder Cannon special,
Okay.
and I'm gonna shoot this motherfucker with it.
Go ahead and roll.
Boom!
That misses. Just. It looks really impressive. It flies over between the horns of the pit fiend.
Do I get 2 attacks, or is that just
I'm gonna say that you do, because fuck it at this point.
charge? Boom!
Roll damage. Surprisingly, still not dead. It's looking incredibly cooked, but it's still not dead. And this thing clings to life. Jillian! It's
Jillian
not looking
looks.
at you anymore.
Jillian is look thunderously between Martha, the Undertaker, the Pit Fiend. Then she, very calmly, now it's Jen, raises her gun and does the big booming behold. She can smite it.
in response
Two,
to
and-
response to Jillian's look, Martha's just
And then with advantage.
okay. Go forth. Roll damage. I don't even think you're gonna need the branding smite. You're not gonna need the branding smite. How do you want to do this?
Yeah, he just very casually aims right the right moment. And the bullet gleams heavenly light as it blows through the back of its skull.
The Undertaker-looking motherfucker's head explodes. The Pit Fiend looks over in Martha's general direction, gives a nod, with a warning sort of a gleam in its eye, and grumbles something in a language none of you understand. She responds in the same language, a little awkwardly because it wasn't really made for human mouths, but it's enough to be understood. And then it's gone.
Holy shit! Holy shit! That was awesome!
That was
Caleb just sits down.
that was a Pit Fiend. Don't call those.
Jillian,
I can understand why!
deep breath in. How do we close the rift?
So, loads of Ghost Rock. I know one way.
You want to blow it up.
So this is what
I
you
know
can
one
do.
way. I'm not saying I want to. I'm saying I know one method. Anyone got any other answers?
Yeah, that's
Right.
fair.
What are
That's-
those?
Hang on. She comes out and waves her hands, mutters some words, and it looks for all the world like a nice little wrought iron bridge formed between Caleb and the raised rock outcropping. And while for a moment it looks and it looks real, but there's just something a little and all of a sudden, it looks less like a magic thing. That'll hold for about 10 minutes.
Okay. You were talking about your ghost rock. There's red versions of it up there.
Honestly, I have no idea what the hell is up with you people in your ghost rock. You'll notice the
Okay,
accent.
Muffin.
You've noticed that the accent's gone from the what you guys are used to something foreign, not even northern, but from somewhere else.
Right. Well, that was an altar, so and Reba will just head to the bridge. She trusts Martha at this point, so she's just gonna walk right over the bridge and
Yeah,
make her way to the altar.
it's solid as anything. It's quite pretty. She's managed to put some interesting levels of detail into it from something that she's magicked. The wrought iron sides on the railing are done in leaves and delicate wrought iron roses. So it looks like the rails are rose trellises.
Which would have, yeah, I mean, that did catch my eye, being, kind of naturally.
And, the decent passive perception, so yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, wow, nice.
Oh, and it's all
Jillian
colorful in
gives
here.
Jillian gives Martha a bit of a side eye, but she follows Reba.
Look, I needed the most powerful thing I could get.
No, let's just focus on the rift.
No, I'm not. I am not having that look from you. I deliberately picked something that wanted a fight. Besides, do you really think you'd feel better if I could summon an agent of your almighty and bind it to my will? Do you really think that would have been any better?
No.
I chose not to disrespect your faith. So stop
Reba's just got to
giving
look at
me
her face
that
like,
look.
Reba's just got to look at her face, and Jillian just like, well, like,
Jillian,
I'm over here. I'm going to check the altar. You figure this out amongst yourselves. And yeah, I'll basically just not really touching anything, but trying to make sense of what is there.
Okay, give me.
Jillian's keeping her mouth shut.
Martha's just. If you probably won't need me for anything. This is a your world thing, I think. But if you do, let me know. Start with a perception check, please.
Everybody?
Well, Reba, because she's looking at the altar in specific.
9.
It's weird ass scroll. There are some symbols, but while you know that some of them are kind of familiar, you think, but some of them, because, well, frankly, the Undertaker-looking motherfucker has been bleeding substances, and there's chunks of him all over it. It's kind of hard to read all of them. Okay, now give me an Arcana check.
Worse. 8.
Martha looks at Jillian in a sort of a, am I going to get into shit if I do anything else? And strides up over the bridge, and with a wave of her hands and a few murmured words, the sludge and bits of this creature just vanish.
Oh.
Leaving a faint smell of lavender.
Ah.
Prestidigitation.
Thank you.
One of the few spells I immediately remember from old world D&D.
Okay.
Ancestors praise you.
Yeah, roll me perception again, please.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, right now you're just. Can I learn to do that? I can't focus.
Yeah, hang on.
Oh wow. Okay, this
Making
is
any sense.
this is This is some interesting twists on abjuration magic.
Oh,
I mean, it can be shut down.
oh, no wonder I couldn't make heads or tails of it.
I mean, some of them are unfamiliar to me, but I think there's a few more that are familiar to me than to you.
That does make sense. I don't feel quite so bad now.
Problem is, when that closes, it's going to close fast.
Hmm. Okay, now the question is, do we close it from this spot or can we close it from closer?
No, it's going to have to be closed from here.
Hey, Aloy, what are those red things over there?
Yeah. I'm like, come on, Muffin, let's go check that out. And I'm following over the bridge.
I recall that you said that. And it hums like Ghost Rock, but it's almost worse. It tingles weird. And instead of just being that buzz, it's almost like whispers. Not quite, but almost.
Kind of want to sample this to check out later, but I need a
Mhm.
container, like a really sturdy container. Because whatever this is Ghost Rock turned up to 11.
Mm.
I'm pulling out my book and sketching.
I'm pretty sure that somewhere in Muffin's saddlebags you've got a hazardous material container.
Muffin, saddlebag 1. I think the container's in there.
Cheap punk.
Thank you.
Boop boop.
Okay. Oh, Caleb,
He'll get up, shamble over.
I'm holding open the container. I need you to really carefully use like your knife or something to chip off a chunk into here.
All right.
Make me an attack roll. It doesn't take much, because it's not like it's moving. Roll me damage. Not enough. I'm gonna need to hit it again. Yeah, you're aggravated now. Roll damage.
There you go.
It's enough for as big a chunk as you're happy for Aloy to have, which is about, I don't know, half the length of my thumb.
Into the container. Clunk. Okay. and
Yeah.
and I'm like screwing it completely shut.
Okay. Here is how we're going to do this. I've clearly reached a level in my studies where I can do some things that I haven't been able to do previously. And I've got a way of moving from point A to point B pretty quickly. Hopefully it's quickly enough. I want you all out of that rip. Because of all of us, I'm the one who stands a better chance of getting from here to there and out before that thing seals up. It's not 100%, but it's a lot better chance than most of you have.
Got you.
All right.
I hate being smart enough not to argue with you. Because I really want to argue with you, but
Let's do this right.
Well, if it doesn't work out, maybe I'll see you again sometime.
I'll keep
good.
an eye out.
It's been good anyway, despite probably people not entirely liking all of my methods. Neshu?
Ancestors watch over you.
tromp, tromp, tromp with my canister
Muffin poodling along behind.
into the saddlebag. Second I get a chance, clunk.
Yeah, you can do that as you go past. So everybody out?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just
I
in
took one
case
last.
I'm-
I took. I was probably the last one out, and I gave one last wave before I stepped through.
Yeah, on the other side, I'm basically keeping cover on the rift just in case something besides her comes out.
Well, just and as you walk out, as you do, about 2 seconds afterwards, the rift starts sealing. You can see it knitting like fast forward of a wound closing.
Mm-hmm.
And just at about the point where it's gone, there's this sort of glowy puff of smoke. Reba can't see it because it's directly behind her, but it resolves into you have no idea until Martha. It coalesces into Martha, who tap on Reba's shoulder. Boo!
Oh,
I told you.
don't ever do that again.
What, Dimension Door? I like that spell. I don't get to use it very often.
This child.
That's the next one.
It's mostly just used for closing distances. It's kind of like Caleb's in between, but it's kind of the earliest initiation you can have to a teleport. Holds out a hand to Reba. I'll show you.
Okay. I mean, I dressed her, so.
Yeah, willing creature, and poof, you're basically to the edge of the. You're basically 500 feet away in the direction of the Norrington house. So they're just gone in this puff of purple glowy.
Jillian, can she see that far?
Perception check.
Holy shit!
Should we? Should we be
No.
here?
Whoops.
It's fine, I'll take the 19. It really doesn't matter that much. Caleb manages to miss it. Jillian, who's got an eye peeled for this, sees this little purple flash of way off over there somewhere.
Jillian lets out a very relieved sigh, waves everybody over, and points there and starts jogging.
Onward, Muffin!
And yeah, it's 500 feet. It's not that much, but
Meanwhile, Reba's looking around like, okay, where are the critters? Where's the things like that we're gonna?
at the moment you are not hearing them yet. Moved us in that direction because we're gonna need to check out the house sooner rather than later.
Fair point.
Tromp, 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 tromp.
But I did need to demonstrate.
That was incredible.
You might be able to do something similar with trees.
I've heard stories.
You've got a part of what you do has a druidic kind of feel to it, or at least that's what I'd call it. And there's some druids I've met that can essentially open a gate in one tree and open another gate in any other tree they can sense or know about. You can go basically anywhere if there's a big enough tree. In any case, we are running over time now.
Yep, very. So
we'll call it there, and when we next meet, we will finish the cleanup. But oh my god, when you have a nat 1 for a portent, you're gonna use it. So yeah, she basically called something that wasn't gonna give her shit when the spell was over, And I didn't even look at the challenge rating on a pit measurement. It's big, it's nasty, she wants it.
What spell did she use to call it there?
Planar binding. I looked, there's no actual limit on what you can call. It's
You
just,
just have to be able to. You just have to be able to beat its stats.
Right.
yeah, and because she's a divination, she's got the portents and just. I have a nat 1.
Yeah, I mean,
So that means she would have aimed for just the one who, incidentally, that was Abyssal for. I'm not going to give you shit over it because I really wanted to gut something, but don't do it again. Understood.
And
Thank you very
that-
much for the help.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you use a divination wizard.
yeah.
Anyway, we won't go too far into that.
Yeah.
And
Good night, everybody.
night.